In this example, we're just going to get some more practice with creating inverse functions. So we're given a function f of x in part A, and we want to find f inverse. All right. Now, what I would do here is set this equal to, let's assign a variable to the output. All right. So I'm going to call that y. And now we just want to isolate x, and so that we have x, just x on one side, and everything involving thing involving y on the other side. All right. So that's what I want to do, is just isolate x now. Right now, x is tied up inside of this 1 over x minus 1, right? All right, so we want a function for x in terms of y. So what I'm going to do here, I have, I think what I want to do is multiply both sides by x minus 1. All right. When I multiply, let me just rewrite this. Maybe it'll be easier to see. Actually, let's write it this way. Y is equal to 1 over x minus 1. All right. So I'm going to multiply both sides by x minus 1. You could think of it as x minus 1 over 1. X minus 1 over 1, it's the same thing. I don't need to write the over 1. But sometimes when you have a fraction, it's a little easier to see what's going on. So when I do that, right, that cancels out, right? I have a common factor here of x minus 1, and I can cancel that out. So now on the right-hand side, I'm just left with 1, and then I can distribute this y. Well, or actually, I wouldn't have to. I could do this a couple different ways. We could distribute the y, or just remember that we want to move y to the other side. So one thing I could do, let's actually try it the other way. Let's just divide. Let's just divide everything by y. All right, so I'm going to take, well, let me just rewrite this. X minus 1 times y. All right, so that's what I've got after I multiply both sides by x minus 1. And now I want to isolate x, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide everything by y. Right, and then I can get rid of y on the on the left-hand side. So now what do I have? I have x minus 1 equals 1 over y. And now I can just add 1 to both sides. So what I'm left with is x, kind of running out of room here, x is equal to, let me actually write it down here, x is equal to 1 over y plus 1. All right, and that's my f inverse of y. Okay, so that's my inverse function. Now I could have done this another way. I don't really have enough room now. I could have distributed the y. I would get a similar answer, an equivalent answer, but it wouldn't look exactly like that. All right, but let's go on to the next the next part. Part B, we have a function g of t. The input is t, and we just want to isolate t, and we're going to set this equal to we need to assign it to a variable. We'll just call it y again. Okay, so we have y equals, okay, well, why don't we just do this? Let's square both sides. We kind of want to get rid of the square root because it's tying up the 3t plus 1. So if we square both sides, then we'll end up with y. I'm going to move this right-hand side to the left-hand side, and then this becomes 3t plus 1. Okay, just squaring both sides gets rid of the square root. Oops, this should be y squared. Now I want to isolate t, and I want to write a function for t in terms of y, right? I want to swap the input and the output, right? So the output becomes the input. All right, well, let's subtract 1 from both sides. All right, so we get y squared minus 1 equals 3t, right? Because those would cancel out. This becomes 0. And now we can just divide everything by 3. All right, so what we end up with is t. I'm going to again swap. I'm going to keep swapping the sides here. I'm going to swap the sides of the equality here. So because this left-hand side, or sorry, the right-hand side, I'm going to write it as the left-hand side. It just becomes t. I'm going to take this this left-hand side and write it on the right-hand side. So I get y squared minus 1 all over 3. All right, the whole thing is over 3. Now I could have written it as 1/3 y squared minus 1, right? If I had multiplied both sides by 1/3, that would do the same thing. Either way, you just have to make sure that you're taking the whole quantity, y squared minus 1, and dividing it by 3. So you can show it either way. And this now is our inverse, f inverse of y, right? Our input now is y. All right, so now we have a function for t in terms of y. All right, I will meet you in the next video.